she's gonna print.
Actually,
See
I
on
have one of my
pictures.
truck stores in one of those buildings. You all right?
Is this the Martinsburg Lake?
Oh, yes, sir. Yeah, come right through it. It's fine.
I just responded to your email from Friday. I don't check my email.
I think it's Sarah's.
Oh, okay. Bill will call me if you need to, if you're worried. Yeah, if you're worried about
Yeah,
it.
I think she'll call if we need people.
Yeah, just call me.
Yeah, Bob told me a couple weeks ago. Yeah. Thank you. The information. Did you ever see a write-up or anything? Jim saw it. Jim saw it. Yes, sir, it was in the regular paper. It must have been, or Jim wouldn't, I guess Jim wouldn't have seen it. And Bob said that it was his understanding that Terry had a long hospital stay. Either hospital or, oh, he'd been sick for a long time, I know. Yeah. Yeah, almost a year. He didn't look good. No. For a long time. No. Okay. Last time I saw him. Let the record show at 6 o'clock. We'll call a meeting to order. Sarah, will you give the roll call?
Eddie Gokenhour,
Here.
Linda Barnhart,
Present.
Eric Goff, Victoria Norton,
Present.
Tim Lewis,
Present.
Daniel Gant,
Here.
Nick Deal,
Here.
Derek Smith.
Okay, we have a quorum. We need approval of the agenda as it was submitted to you.
So moved.
Second.
Motion of Mr. Deal, second of Mr. Gokenhour to approve the agenda as submitted. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The agenda is approved. Do we have anyone that signed up to speak? Let the record show that no one has signed up to speak under the Sunshine Law. The next item on the agenda is approval of the meeting minutes.
Make a motion to approve.
Motion by Mr. Lewis to approve the minutes.
Second.
Second by Mr. Smith. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Abstain due to absence.
Okay, let the record show that Mr. Gann is abstaining due to absence. Okay, the first item on the agenda is public hearings, Lord Fairfax Estates.
The first public hearing tonight is a request for final plat approval. Project is Lord Fairfax Estates, lots 6 through 8 and 16 through 20, file 2107-249. The developer is Swan Pond Land Trust, and the surveyor is Roberts Land Surveying. It's located in the Apecan District, map 12, parcel 26.10, and is located approximately 2 miles from Shepherdstown Road off of Swan Pond Road. This final plat is proposing 8 single-family lots on approximately 51 acres to be served by private well and septic. The final plat meets the requirements of the subdivision ordinance, therefore staff recommends final plat approval contingent upon receipt of a surety in the amount of $216,360 even. Plat to be released upon receipt of the surety and completed developer's agreement.
Okay, this is a public hearing. Do we have anyone present to represent the project?
Yes, Mike Roberts, represent the project.
Okay, thank you. Again, this is a public hearing for Lord Fairfax Estates, lots 6 through 8 and 16 through 20. Is there anyone who wishes to speak regarding Lord Fairfax Estates?
Seeing no one, make motion to close public hearing.
Second.
Have them note that there is no one present to speak. Motion by Mr. Gokenhour, second by Mr. Deal to close public hearing. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Public hearing is now closed. Planning Commission members, do you have questions of Mr. Roberts or of the staff?
If there are no questions, I'll make a motion that approve final plat contingent upon receipt of surety in the amount of $216,360. Plat to be released upon receipt of surety and completed developer's agreement.
Okay, I have a motion by Mr. Gant,
Second.
second by Mr. Gokenhour to approve the final plat contingent upon receipt of $216,360 for Lord Fairfax Estates. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed.
Thank you.
I'm gonna be repeating myself from this project to accomplish this.
Okay.
The next public hearing tonight is a request for major plan change approval. The project is Lakes at Martinsburg Townhouse, Phase 1. File is 2108-289. The developer is Banbury Holdings, LLC, and the engineer is Gordon Associates. It's located in the Falling Waters District, map 16, parcel 8, and is located along Weaver Lane, approximately half a mile west of its intersection with Route 11. This plan change proposes a boundary line adjustment to lots 95, 96, 104, and open space. No waivers or exceptions have been requested. On September 1st, 2021, the county engineer issued a letter of approval stating that a review of the above-mentioned project was completed and found to be in compliance with the Berkeley County subdivision ordinance. The major plan change meets the requirements of the subdivision ordinance, therefore staff recommends approval of the major plan change.
Okay, do we have anyone to represent the project? The Lakes of Martinsburg Townhomes.
Good evening, Ryan Perks from Gordon.
Thank you. Again, this is a public hearing for the Lakes of Martinsburg Townhomes, Phase 1. This is a plan change. Anyone wish to speak regarding this project from the public?
Jonathan Stevenson.
Thank you. Okay,
There's currently an injunction on parcels D and E, and I just want to make sure that's still enforced.
I don't know that.
The injunction is on the properties.
Yeah, okay. Just making sure that didn't apply to.
Okay. Question asked and answered. Thank you. Anyone else wish to speak regarding the Lakes plan change? This is a public hearing. If you have questions or comments, please come forward, state your name, and the questions you might have regarding this project.
Or nobody else, I'll make a motion to close public hearing.
Okay, no further comments. I have a motion by Mr. Gant, second by Ms. Norton to close public comment. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. The public hearing is now closed. Planning Commission members, do you have questions of Mr. Perks or of the staff?
If there are no questions, I'll make the motion to accept staff recommendation and approve the major plan change for this project.
I have a motion by Mr. Gant to approve the major plan change,
Second.
second by Mr. Gogenauer. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed.
Thank you.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is request for preliminary plan approval for 711 Winchester Avenue and Nadenbush Lane.
Yes, this is a request for prelim plan approval. The project is 711 Winchester Avenue and Naden Bush Lane, file 2102-048. The developer is Creighton Commercial Development and the engineer is Kimley Horn Associates. It's located in the Pekin District, map 6, parcels 34.1, 34.4, and 37. This is an existing 7-Eleven convenience store located at the northeast corner of the intersection of Route 11 and Native Bush Lane. This project proposes the redevelopment of the existing 7-Eleven convenience store. The developer proposes demolishing the existing building and replacing it with a 4,650 square foot convenience store with 8 pump fueling stations and 3 pump high-speed diesel canopy stations, an automatic car wash to be served by public water and sewer. At the November 16th, 2020 Planning Commission meeting, the developer was granted a waiver to Article 5, Section 503, Table 5-2, requiring setbacks for non-residential properties. It was a setback for the canopy overhang. On June 22, 2021, County Engineer Doug Smith issued a letter of approval stating that a review of the above-mentioned project was completed and found to be in compliance with the Berkeley County subdivision ordinance. The preliminary plan meets the requirements of the subdivision ordinance. Therefore, staff recommends approval of the preliminary plan.
Okay, do we have, excuse me, do we have anyone to represent the project?
Hi, this is Jamie Wonderly with Kimley Horner and Associates.
I'm sorry,
Jamie Wonderly with Kimley Horner and Associates.
I still didn't catch your first name.
Jamie.
Jamie? Thank you. Planning Commission members, do you have questions of the applicant's representative or of the staff?
Just have one question about the waiver that was granted in November of 2020. That was just for a replacement of a canopy that's currently there. The change was to move that canopy. So with the entire project being changed now, is that still going to be required, a waiver for that?
Correct, a waiver was required and we were granted approval of that except after that.
There was a canopy there to start with?
If I can,
Go
it
ahead.
wasn't for the existing canopy, it was for the replacement of this canopy. It's further back than the existing canopy, but it's still closer than the 75-foot setback. So it was for this project, not for the replacement of the existing.
So it was for the entire project. It wasn't
Yes, sir.
just to
Yeah.
replace the canopy
Exactly.
that was there.
If there are no further questions, I'll make the motion to accept staff recommendation. Preliminary plan meets requirements of subdivision ordinance. Therefore, I'll make the motion, we approve the preliminary plan.
Have a motion by Mr. Gant,
Second.
second by Mr. Gokenhour, to approve the preliminary plan. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion passed. Okay. That concludes the business at hand. Now we have item number 8, staff council discussion action motion, draft subdivision ordinance, written comment submissions.
Included in your packet, you should have comments from David Costello, Glenn Ondick, Doug Smith, and Hunter Wilson. And then as a follow-up, there was an email sent Friday afternoon. That should include comments from Laura, Clarence Settle, Zach Walburn, and Steve Stianovich. And then in our previous meeting agenda for September 20th, you also had some comments there. So between those 3 distributions, you have all the comments we received for the ordinance. I talked with Anthony and Jeff earlier, and we thought maybe we should work on setting a time for a workshop rather than trying to go through the ordinance in full at the end of a planning commission meeting, to see what your availability is for the workshop that is dedicated to this going through the ordinance.
Well, I don't know if all of you have received all of the questions and comments that we have, but I have 10 plus. Plus, I asked at the last planning commission meeting that you please try to review the ordinance as it was sent to you. And I believe that at this time, it's probably the best idea to establish some sort of a committee. I hate to use that word committee because that sometimes sounds a little stuffy, but I think we need to have 4 or 5 people to decide how many of these comments we want to include and what we want to do with the draft ordinance. Some of you have told me that you've worked on reviewing it, and it is a lengthy document to review. I don't know if you all have the comments that have been received or not, but one in particular is 3 pages long that I saw, and that's pretty long to get through. I'd like to have a committee, and I'm gonna throw this out here and see what you guys think of it. I'd like to have the committee consist of maybe 5 people. Does that sound agreeable to you, Jeff? And I would like that to be Heather, Jeff, of course, Laura, hello? Laura?
She's noting, yeah.
Oh, yes,
Will you
ma'am.
circle?
Sorry, I thought you were just going through the
No.
list.
And Doug Smith, county engineer. Now that's 4. I'd like to have maybe
Yeah, of course.
2 more, which would make the committee 6 people. 2 people from the planning commission to sit on this review of the comments. Do I have any volunteers, or am I going to have to single you out?
I'd be willing to serve.
Thank you, Eddie. How about you, Tim?
I can as long as it's later in the evenings.
Later in the
Afternoons.
evenings, you mean like at 10 o'clock or
No,
something?
not
Don't you
that.
go don't you go to bed at 9?
Not yeah. No. Yeah, because you give me this stuff to read. Just not early morning and noon, stuff like that. That's when a lot of my work has to be done. So.
Okay. Well, we've got
Noon or later.
4 of the people here who are in this office on a daily basis. Eddie's here semi-quasi, aren't you? What's the desired time? Maybe you do.
Noon or later.
Noon or later. Does that work for you guys?
Yes.
Yes? No? Okay. Eddie, work for you? Okay. Let's set it for 1 o'clock. Is that good?
It depends on the day.
Huh?
What day?
Well, you guys got to determine that.
Oh, mhm.
But the time frame would be 1
Yeah.
o'clock, and then you can decide when your first meeting wants to be. Or when you want your first meeting to be. How's that?
Okay.
Does that
Mhm.
sound workable? Okay, because there are a lot of comments. Some of them are just reiterated from public hearings that we've heard many times, and some of them have a lot of meat in them. So it's going to take a fair amount of time for you to go through these, and I would think that the ideal time to work on this would be not more than 2 hours at a time,
Agreed.
because I think pretty soon your head's going to start swimming. Agree? Does that work with you?
My head's still spinning from 2009 when we did this.
Willie, but you're an exception.
I agree with Steve Zianovich. I mean, I think our 2009 ordinance is pretty sound. I mean, I don't understand why we got to change them all the time.
Well, they're 11 years old. They needed to be updated. We'll set the first meeting to be held at 1 o'clock. And do you have a date that suits you best?
I'd have to look at our calendars. I can send an invite to everyone and then make hard copies for both of you of the comments, if that would help.
Would that work for you guys?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, that sounds like a plan. And then at the next planning commission meeting, we might have just a brief update how the first meeting went, if you have a chance to meet before the next meeting. Does that sound?
Sounds good.
Okay. All righty. Is there anything else anybody wants to bring up? No?
I'm good.
Well, your head's spinning. I want you to unspin it.
Not about to anything tonight. I'm just saying, months and months and months. In 2009, we did this.
Okay, if there's nothing further, I need a motion, but he's not here. So somebody else is gonna have to do it.
I'd be happy to make a motion to adjourn.
Okay, motion by Mr. Gokenhour to adjourn at 6:20.
Second.
Second by Mr. Deal. All those in favor?
Aye.
Meeting is adjourned.